This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Wednesday, June 28th today.
I keep thinking it's Friday.
It's not. It's only Wednesday.
I know.
And Canada Day is July 1st.
Yes, Saturday.
Used to be known as Dominion Day when I was a wee lad. And so here in Canada, it's a statutory holiday. If you're listening around the world, we can all be Canadian for a day.
Sure we can.
And but it's always special when it shows up around the weekend because we can turn it into a long weekend. Doesn't always get to happen. So it's kind of cool when it's on a Saturday. So
what does happen when it's on a Wednesday? Do we just get the Wednesday?
We get the Wednesday. If it's a Tuesday, you just get the Tuesday, but people get sick on the Monday.
That's true.
Turn
So
it
they
into
take
a
it to Monday,
4-day weekend.
Tuesday.
Same thing happens on Thursdays.
Okay, it doesn't feel like that's happened in a while, though.
Well,
if I'm
last year was
asking
a
what
Friday,
happens on a
so it was a long
Wednesday,
weekend.
yeah.
It was great. Yeah, so but we're taking
I suppose,
Monday
yeah.
as a statutory holiday, so not Friday.
We'll take Monday.
But
it's always nicer.
Don't tune in thinking you're getting anything like highbrow on Friday.
Goodness, no.
It's the beginning of the long weekend. Kids are sleeping in
Yeah,
for the
kids are
first
done.
time Friday. The entire show drops a decibel or two.
Does it? Or should we crank it up?
No, we don't want to wake them up.
Oh, see.
Let them sleep.
I'm the type of parent who's like, nope.
Wake them up? Really?
Wake them up. Get them
Wow.
going. My kids, too, though, don't sleep. So maybe that's why.
Okay. Get out there and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Teacher's gifts. You almost done? Because today's the final day for your
God.
kids. So
I
you
don't
still
want
got.
it. I hope so.
You may have figured it out there. I thought it was
What?
being helpful today. On what
Yes,
that last
and I think
gift
we
was.
have. I think we have figured it out if I can find it.
Ding, ding.
If I can find it.
Okay.
Because it's
worth it.
kind of seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
It tends to be out during the holidays, so I don't know if I can find it now. But if I can, done. I have until 3:00 this afternoon.
Right, and then get it out to the school.
Because for some reason it snuck up on me this year.
End of school stuff.
I know, it was so bad. Sunday I had a borderline panic attack.
Can you talk about what you bought? So what did you get bus drivers? One bus driver, two?
Well, we have one bus driver and then there's a helper
And helper, okay.
on the bus. Another woman who we actually get our pumpkins from at Halloween.
Of course you do. 'Cause
Of course.
Campbellford isn't huge.
So yes, I got them each a little something.
Okay. good.
I don't necessarily do want to go into detail.
No,
'cause I
of
don't
course
wanna,
not,
But
but-
yes, I got them each something, and then the boys each have a teacher. So of course, so they got something.
Got something.
The office administrator at the school, God bless Mrs. Petty.
Yeah.
Who, as you know, I talk to on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Not for a bad reason, but there's always something. Someone forgot a lunch, or someone's not going to be there, or someone's going to be late, or I'm going to
Yeah.
have to pick them up, and I have to let the school know. So I talk to her quite a bit. So I wanted to get her a little something because it's a weekly, if not bi-weekly, phone call. It's several times a week, some weeks.
My favorite line is, "Hi, Mrs. Petty, it's Charity Kerr."
In that tone.
And then
Again.
Ben forgot a lunch.
I'm going to be
Nathan's
picking
got
the
a
boys
dental
up this
appointment, yeah.
afternoon. Yeah.
Boys are going to walk to the
Yes.
hospital, see Wayne.
Yes, or they walk
Like, I know
to
what
meet
all the
Dad.
excuses are.
Yeah.
At 8 o'clock, you just have to call the school. Okay, none of my business, but okay.
Do.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sure she's sick of me. So to make it better, I did get her something. And then there was one teacher who went above and beyond this year with Ben over the holidays. I don't think we talked about it. We might, maybe we did.
I
Did
think
we talk about it?
But that's okay. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, Ben had a near-death experience. I laugh, but it could have been a lot more serious.
Sure, he was choking.
Exactly. He was choking on a chip, and thanks to this teacher who jumped into action, who did not hesitate, the result was a lot better than it could have been. It could have been a lot worse, and of course, Ben was fine. But I did want to do a little something for him as well.
Sure, of course. That's
Yeah.
great.
He saved my baby.
So there it is. Final day of school, then that's done. And then they get home
God.
today. Then what? What happens today when they get home? I reminded Andrew, who came over for dinner last night, that when he was young, he and his sister would have to run the gamut of me and the fire hose. When you get off the bus,
Oh, that's right. You used to. Oh.
between getting off the bus and getting in the house, you're getting wet because it's the last day of school.
It's amazing,
And
but
it
it's
happened
awful.
every year for maybe 5 or 6 years. And he turned to me last night and he said, "Really? We did that?" He has no
No
memory
memory of it.
I thought it would be a treasured childhood memory. No,
Does Steph remember it?
probably not.
You should ask
I'm
her.
a horrible father.
No, you're not. That's amazing. That to me is a very cool thing
I
to
got
do.
the hose out, and they would run around on the lawn, and they wouldn't get doused, but they'd get a little wet. Now summer's underway.
We have started with the kids taking them out for dinner.
Yeah, okay.
So we will do that tonight.
Going
but,
out, nice.
Yeah, but I guarantee, and nothing fancy. Like we'll just go grab.
Oh,
It might
whatever.
even be McDonald's.
Yeah,
But we'll
whatever,
go out for
sure.
dinner tonight and be like, yay!
Mark the occasion.
Exactly. But I know, I guarantee the first thing Nathan will say to me when he gets home, he's like, so I can stay up till 11, right? That will be his only concern. That will be the priority. Let's get the bedtime set now.
Yeah.
I don't plan on going to bed, Mom, for the next 2 months.
And that's when you turn to Wayne and say, it's your job to carry him to bed when he falls asleep at 10:30, right? Because I'm not dragging him around. I still got
I'll
to get
be in
up.
bed.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care. Do what you
Yeah.
want. I'll be in bed.
Just don't leave a mess.
It's not up to me anymore.
I don't have to wake up and know you stayed up till 11 because of that mess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it is very exciting.
It
I'm
is.
kind of catching on to I'm jumping on your bandwagon because you said about how exciting this week was. And I guess I never really, it's exciting, but your enthusiasm for it is it's catching. So
Is it?
I'm kind
Never
of,
think that-
I'm very excited for them today. I find myself like, yay.
Yeah, I went for a walk in the neighborhood yesterday, and in the afternoon I saw school buses, and I thought, just a couple more kids, hang in, and like they need my help, to remember. I just love it. So tomorrow's such a great day. I'm not going to be in tomorrow, but anyway, it's still exciting.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
living
because you
through
said
it.
you always like the last day of school.
Love the last day of school.
My kids are done today, but different school boards than here in the Quinte area, and Hastings Prince Edward does wrap up
Yep.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yep. And then in Canada, they return the day after Labor Day. And I know the United States, they're done earlier, and then they go back in late August.
Yeah.
So they have an entirely different, but theirs was also based on, and Canada's, I'm sure it is as well, it's based on an agricultural calendar, right? So harvest would start
In June, early June.
in August. So they get them out. And
Sorry,
then
yes, I'm thinking
they start going back
they
to
start
school.
cutting hay in early June.
Yeah.
And then, they're cutting the last cut in
Yeah.
August too and start all
So
that.
they're done in mid-August. Sorry, kids, back to school. Us
Yep.
a little bit later. So after Labor
I
Day.
never knew that. And that makes
So much more of it
perfect
was,
sense,
and that's
yeah.
why our Thanksgiving is earlier, because it's cooler. We got to get it off. Whereas in the States, they could go a little bit later in the southern United States. So their Thanksgiving was a little bit later.
Look at you.
It's all
Learn something new
agricultural.
every day on this last week of school. Thank you,
And,
Mark, for
well,
educating us.
There are so many people that are going to now text in on the podcast to say that guy is full of crap. That's got
I don't know.
nothing to
I
do
think it
with
sounds real. It sounds like it's true. We put it up on our Facebook page, though, today as well, because we've been doing Canadiana, all, of course, leading to Canada Day. We've done food. We've done locations to visit. Today, we dove into the citizenship test. Because there was an article this week about how if Canadians were to do the citizenship test, how we would fare. You would think we would do awesome.
Right.
Because we've lived here all our lives. We've
We
been
know
educated.
everything about our country.
In everything Canada. No, in fact, out of the 1,500 Canadian adults that were surveyed, only 23% would pass.
That's
The citizen,
ridiculous.
and it's you don't even need to have 100. You do need more than 50% on these tests. It's a test, and they were only given 10 questions. Someone coming into the country get 20 questions. You only got 10, and you have to get at least 75% in order to pass. On average, they were getting 49%. So listen up.
Yeah.
Canadians, we need to step it up a bit. We need to educate. But
Oh my gosh.
I was looking at the citizenship test. It's
hard.
it's a little intimidating. There's
hard.
like 20 chapters with about 10 different headings in each like categories or parts to it in each chapter. It's like, holy crap, no wonder we didn't do so well.
Yeah. They start talking about politics and the legal system. And hey, thankfully, I haven't had to bump
Never had
into the
to,
legal
yeah.
system.
Don't really need to know a lot about it because I follow the law.
Here's some of the things you need to know. We drive on the right side of the road, not the left. That's an important thing to know in Canada.
Absolutely, it is.
Temperature is measured in centigrade and Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So if the numbers seem low to you and yet you're sweating, that's why. Important thing to know. Wayne Gretzky, national hero.
Absolutely.
Terry Fox, national hero. Sarah
Universal
McLachlan.
health care.
National heroes. Yep, we got that.
We've got that.
So, you start checking off those boxes. I'm okay with, what crime do you need to commit to get 2 years less a day? I don't know, all of them? Any of them?
Anything to do with politics?
Yeah.
Even our history. I hate to say it. Like, I was looking at the chapter on history and all the different categories within that chapter.
Right, yep.
And I love history, and I'm reading it, and I'm thinking, I should just get this book and read it just for the heck of it. I should just study for my own growth and knowledge to get satisfaction myself, because there's so much about our history. I'll be honest, I don't know.
I believe that it was Mackenzie Lyon King, who was a prime minister, I think.
I think he was.
Had the famous quote that said, Canada is long on geography, short on history.
True.
We know so much about the geography and the beauty and the land of Canada, far more than we know our history. And that's not good, bad, indifferent. What separates us is the beauty of our land, the Great Lakes, the fresh water we have, which is just such an abundant resource that some of the world would kill for,
exactly.
Right?
Most of the world's
mountains.
Fresh water supply is in Canada.
The plains, the potash of Saskatchewan. We have, one country has all of these, the geography, history, not a lot.
And that became apparent, especially in the last couple of years, when we start to really recognize and acknowledge, whoa,
what's been going on in the last 150 years?
Yeah, and we need to become more aware and really own it and learn it and know it. We should. We owe it to ourselves to know about this country where we live and love and travel and do all these things in.
I am a firm believer that that history repeats itself, and if you don't know it, you're doomed to repeat it, because human nature will lead you down the exact same paths in any way. But the only way to truly enjoy your future is to understand your past. Make up where you need to make up, and then together move forward and create what it is that we want to create together.
I think too,
it's the best thing. It's the best way to do it.
Absolutely, it is. I agree with everything. But is it fair to say, though, Canadian history, it's not exciting? Although there is exciting parts to it. I remember growing up, and this was part of it. In high school, you have a chance to, you have your general history course, but then as you go on, you can specify or get into more specific.
Sure.
European history, I loved. You deal with medieval times, you deal with the world wars, but it's from a European perspective. And there's so much history in Europe that I thought, and it was there was almost a romanticism about it. I was like, I just want to learn. Canada, I didn't find the same draw.
I don't want to one-up you, but in university, I majored in classical studies.
Yes.
So I learned the histories of Rome and Greece.
See, again, I would
talk about romance, right? And
I would have gone that way too.
Because that was the beginning, as close as you get to the beginning of kind of democracy. Yes, they had the emperors, and I get it. But the fresh water systems of aqueducts and culture. And yes, again, a lot of horrible things happened, but this beginning notion of writing and maintaining history, and that
everything we know as a society started there.
And that's what I wanted to see. So when I say moving forward, and you need to understand your path. If you don't understand how we got here, how can you possibly move it forward? You may be moving backwards if you don't know your history. You may think we're going forward. And in the politics, some people say, you're moving us backwards. Every movement has forward and backwards. Civil rights movement, women's movement, if you study sociological, like the French Revolution, there's so much that happened then. To eat the rich, right? That we talk about.
Yes.
Now. French Revolution went through that when Marie Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake."
Oh my gosh!
And they accused
rich
people of
thing on her.
So if you understand your history, you know where we are and where this ends. And it doesn't always end well for everybody. But if you know that, you can guide yourself to a far better ending. So anyway, I love that, and that gave me my sort of Western world view of where we came from and where we can go, but I loved it.
But Western history just doesn't seem to have that same draw
but
or
here's
appeal.
The part about
even
Canada.
American.
I love Robin Williams. The great Robin Williams said, Canada is like the apartment above a crack house. The United States is
The
right.
crack house.
Is the crack house, and you guys are upstairs.
We're just watching.
And what I always thought is we're the introverted friend. Like that sounds like it's a negative, but it isn't. But compared to the world and living beside the United States, we're kind of quiet.
Kind of get overshadowed.
Yeah, and we're happy because we do our things. We have our squabbles. There's no two ways about it. But it's in our little teacup. Mm-hmm. You know, our fights look pretty huge, and then you look around the world and realize, no, we're still pretty good. We need to clean up our house. We're not going to agree on everything, and I get that, and I'm not saying we have to. I'm just saying put it in the whole perspective. Our arguments and our standard of living ensure that no matter which way we fall, we're all going to be okay.
Yep.
We're all going to be all right. But we should work together and try and make a positive impact on our world. But yeah, we're the apartment above the crack house right now. So Canadian history, yeah, it doesn't stand out as something exciting that everybody needs to know.
And yet there were exciting things that happened.
Sure.
There were things in our history that should be taken note of. There's no question, and followed and really looked at. But yeah, you look at the glitz and the glamour of the rest of the world. It's kind of like, yeah.
My father, we were on a cruise ship with my father, and it was as close as I've ever come to think my father might hit that man. It was the very first night we were there. And there were 6 of us at the table. So it was Kath and I, my father and his wife. My mother had passed away at this point, and a couple from the United States. Now it's finally got talking. And the gentleman from the United States said that he was a veteran.
Oh.
And my father's like, well, I was a veteran too of the Second World War. And the man made the joke, or perhaps not, that, oh, that's a good thing we signed up to save you guys. So, we're all having a good time on the cruise, right? When's dessert? So my father was quite notably pissed.
As he should be, because there again, Canadians played a huge role
Right.
in the Second World War.
You know, as my dad once, in baseball terms, said, the United States came out of the bullpen in the 5th inning.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were losing in the game, and they, like, if you started the ball game with us, maybe it wouldn't have lasted as long. We knew where it was going, and we saw it.
You didn't want to be a part of it.
You didn't want to be, because you didn't think it'd impact you.
Yep.
So my dad, very politely said, well, actually, you guys didn't show up until the whole thing. And then we knew the argument my dad would not engage him anymore when he said, and this goes back to history, yeah, but we ended it when we dropped the bomb because we know how to finish things. And so Dad was like, okay, there's
We're
no talk.
done.
Like,
Yep.
there's no talking about it with this guy. And I'm not sure we had too many dinners with him again. I'm not saying it was wrong, but again, so
It's
why,
the attitude, it's
why,
the view,
why
it's the
don't we
perspective.
view our history?
Yeah.
Because we didn't drop the bomb, so it's not our history. Just always
That part
seems
of
that
it,
the
yeah.
big history never happened in Canada.
Well, and that's what I mean about the glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
Not that there aren't key things, but it's been so, like, Americans, I give them it is something. Their patriotism is born and bred. Like, they scream it from the rooftops, and good for them for doing that. But it's become so, between the movies and the documentaries and the TV shows and everything based around, well, specifically World War II, it has become this bigger than life battle event. Not just
Right.
World War II. I'd say the Civil War too. There's been a lot about the Civil War in the States as well.
Yeah.
And the same with European history. There's been movies and documentaries and shows. And again, this romanticism attached to it, this build-up, this mystique around it. We haven't done that with our history, I would say. Passchendaele was probably,
That was such a
it's the
good
one,
movie.
exactly. And that's the one that comes to mind. And that's what we need more of. We need more films, more talk around, more, and maybe it's out there and I haven't seen it. But I remember when Passchendaele, and I'm trying to think of the star of it.
Paul Gross.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, how passionate he was about it and really wanted to get that story
project.
out as he
directed it.
Exactly. And I thought we just need more of that. We
Yep.
need Canadians to really grab a hold of things, and it might not all be pretty and it might not all be comfortable to do, because I think of Saving Private Ryan, that film still,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And it was very well done.
Canada was on the beach First 20
Exactly.
minutes, we were on the beach.
To have more of that for us, I think would be very beneficial and necessary.
The thing is, you know, and at the risk of making it a 6-hour podcast, I've always believed, and maybe because we're such a young country,
Yes.
that the future belongs to Canada, not the past. We're not old enough to be greatly concerned with our past. Yes, we've made transgressions in the world as imperialists,
Yeah, yes.
but what we can be, our potential of what we could be, is so much more than the sum of our past. And not that I don't want to get bogged down in it, but I always just think we've got such a future that Canada can play in a wealthy world with the resources we have. Let's not lose sight of that spirit of explorership and entrepreneurship and freedom and welcoming and tolerance, and we can really play. No, we don't have the population to make an impact, but we do have the resources to ensure that we can provide, because there's so much of it. And I hope that Canada's legacy 500 years from now
Yes.
is that we were one of the good guys.
I'd
to borrow a term like that.
I like to think that if we're not there, I think to a point we are, but it's getting there.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in the right.
Right. We may
Direction.
never get there. Nobody may never get there, but we're always moving toward
Yes.
it. You know, Martin Luther King always talked about that the arc of history, I wish I could get it right, always bends toward justice. You know, as long as we do that, like it never touches, right? In the mathematical, that arc never touches the bottom. But as long as we're always arcing toward justice, if that's always the path, then you're at least on the right path. And that's what I'd like to think that Canada's legacy is going to be.
I think that's what we are.
And when I'm
And how
eventually
we're seen.
gone, and shake off the mortal coil, I will always be grateful I lived in Canada. I will always be grateful, even with all of our problems, that thank you, God, for putting me here in this time and place, especially in this place.
Absolutely.
Because it's a great place to be.
We're pretty darn lucky.
So Friday, so I'm off tomorrow, but then on Friday we're going to talk about the all-time Canadian bucket list.
Are we going to do the bucket list Friday?
Yeah,
Okay.
is that what we're going to do?
I'll
'Cause
hold
that
off and do it
sounds
Friday
fun.
then.
Oh, no. Were you going to do it tomorrow?
No, we're going to do it Friday.
Okay, because we'll have plenty to do Friday.
Oh, I'll have
my
something
gosh.
else for Friday, for tomorrow. Don't
be
even
so
worry. There's so
much.
much. Maybe we'll do inventions, because that always boggles my mind.
Yeah,
Again,
the things that were invented in
the things that
Canada.
have come from Canada that we put out there.
Garbage bags.
Oh my God, the zipper. The zipper. Imagine a world without the zipper.
Canadians.
Canadians.
Yeah, see again, you know what Americans invented? Bra straps. No.
Well, that's good too.
I don't
but-
know how to get those off. Zippers? Easy. Why do Americans make everything so complicated?
Oh my gosh.
Why
So
does
I'll
Mark
talk about
make
that
it
tomorrow.
So weird.
Why?
So you're going to do
Why?
the inventions tomorrow?
I'll do inventions
All right.
tomorrow, and we'll save the bucket list, the Canadian bucket
Can't
list.
wait.
For Friday. We'll have a little fun as we head into our Canada Day long weekend.
So enjoy your day today. If your kids are wrapping up school or been clapped out as grade 8, have a fabulous summer, only because I won't be here tomorrow. But we'll get together. Charity will be in tomorrow with our Throwback Thursday, our final day of school, Throwback Thursday. Jimmy
iPod
Hollywood
Shuffle.
has new and an iPod Shuffle, which is going to be great. Enjoy your Wednesday, okay? We're back at it on 95.5 Hits FM.